Artemis, the goddess of the hunt, was a powerful deity who was known not just for her hunting skills but also for her role as a patron of women and young children. She was born to Zeus and Leto, as a twin sister to Apollo. Being one of the three virgin goddesses, she was never interested in getting married. In literature and myths, Artemis was portrayed as a fierce hunting goddess with followers who feared her wrath. She had her own set of rules and anyone who broke them had to pay the price. When Actaeon saw her bathing in the woods, she turned him into a deer which was later hunted down by Actaeon's own hunting dogs. Even Callisto, who broke her vow of virginity, had to leave Artemis' company. Despite all her fierce traits, Artemis was revered in ancient Greece and had various temples, altars, and shrines dedicated to her. Her symbols included a bow and arrow, a quiver, hunting knives, and she was often associated with the deer and the cypress tree. Her worshippers believed that she had the ability to both bring and relieve disease in women and children, which is why she was considered a patron of young children and women. Today, Artemis remains a significant figure in mythology and her story serves as a reminder of the power that women hold. Artemis, the Greek goddess of the hunt, was born to Zeus and Leto as a full sibling of Apollo. However, there were conflicting stories regarding the details of her birth. Some legends said that Artemis and Apollo were born at the same time, while others placed her birth earlier or later than Apollo's. One myth told of how Hera forbade Leto from giving birth to her twins on any land after Zeus impregnated her. However, the island of Delos allowed Leto to give birth to them, despite Hera's orders. Another legend mentioned Ortygia as the birthplace of Artemis and Apollo, while Cretan mythology stated that they were born on the Paximedia Islands. It was also unclear which twin was born first, but most myths agreed that Artemis assisted her mother in giving birth to her brother. Servius suggested that Artemis was born first because she represented the night and the moon, while Apollo represented the day and the sun. Pindar described them as shining like the sun when they were born. After their birth, Leto and her twins traveled to Lycia to drink from and bathe in a spring. However, the locals stirred up the muddy bottom of the spring to prevent them from using the water. This angered Leto so much that she transformed the peasants into frogs, doomed to swim and hop around the spring forever. Despite the differences in the legends, they all pointed to Artemis's strong connection to nature, and her power to transform those who angered her. She was known as the protector of young women and wild animals, and her symbols included the bow and arrow and the crescent moon. Artemis was a goddess of many mysteries, from her childhood to her role as the guardian of virgins. One story told of her youth involved her sitting on her father's lap, asking for 10 wishes. She believed that her destiny was to become a midwife, having already assisted in her twin brother Apollo's birth. However, she also had an intense love of hunting, which she pursued with passion. To prepare herself for her future as a huntress, young Artemis sought out the tools of her trade. According to Callimachus, she traveled to the Isle of Lipara to obtain her bow and arrows, a gift from Hephaestus and the Cyclopes who worked there. Despite her fear of Oceanus' daughters, Artemis approached them and asked for the powerful weapons she needed. Next, she visited Pan, the god of the forest, who gifted her with 7 female and 6 male hounds. Then, using her skills as a huntress, Artemis caught 6 golden-horned deer to pull her chariot. With these tools in hand, she practiced her archery skills on trees and wild game, becoming a master of her craft. Throughout her life, Artemis remained committed to her own purity and that of her companions. She was a powerful symbol of the hunt, with her golden bow and arrow, hunting dogs, and the stag representing her domain. Though much of her childhood remains shrouded in myth, the legend of Artemis endures through the ages as a symbol of strength, purity, and the power of the hunt. Alpheus, the river god, was deeply in love with the goddess Artemis. However, she did not feel the same way towards him. Feeling rejected and heartbroken, Alpheus came up with a plan to capture her. Artemis and her companions were on their way to Letronoi when they sensed something was not right. They quickly covered their faces with mud, so Alpheus would not recognize them. Despite his efforts, Alpheus failed to capture Artemis. In another instance, Alpheus set his sights on Artemis's attendant, Arethusa, and tried to rape her. The goddess intervened, saved her by transforming her into a spring in the temple Artemis Althea. Arethusa and Artemis frequented the spring often. Buphagos, the son of the titan Iapetus, once harbored thoughts of raping Artemis, but the goddess caught him. In a fit of anger, she struck him dead at Mount Pholo. Daphnis, the young son of Hermes, was a follower of Artemis. He accompanied her on hunting trips and entertained her by playing the panpipe and singing pastoral songs. Artemis also tutored Scamandrius on the craft of archery. With her guidance, Scamandrius became an exceptional archer. Brotes, a famous hunter, once offended Artemis by boasting that nothing could harm him, not even fire. As punishment, Artemis drove him insane, causing him to walk into fire and ending his life. According to Antoninus Liberalis, Cyproides, a Cretan, once saw Artemis bathing while he was out hunting. Artemis metamorphosed him into a woman as punishment. Another man, Calydon, son of Ares and Astynome, was turned to stone by Artemis when he saw her bathing naked. Despite her vengeful nature, Artemis was a goddess of great skill and compassion.
Do you want to explore more Greek mythology stories? Who do you want to see featured next? Subscribe and leave a comment below to let me know. I'll see you in the next video.